Commanders win this game 40-7. Let's talk about the top 5 graded players that we have here on the Washington Commanders for the big win. Gator great, edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr. with a 96.6 overall grade in this one. Got himself in the end zone as well. He looked so good returning that interception that I remember looking at you when we were watching this game the other day, and I was like, no, that can't be Dante Fowler Jr. Like, it's got to be like some sort of it's got to be a safety or something. Some side of defensive back. He was putting the moves on people.
He's been around a while. He's in shape. He's still in shape.
That's true. Very clearly he is. Number 2 on the list, wide receiver Terry McLaurin with an 85.7. Number 3, guard Nick Allegretti with an 83.7. Cornerback Mike Sanders still. Slot corner, just to let you guys know. 82.7 overall grade in this one. And then Sam Cosmi at number 5 with an 80.5. Jayden Daniels goes out of this game with a rib injury, but it kind of sounded like he could have come back in this game. I didn't see any sort of report on it this morning, but it sounded like he could have come back from that rib injury.
I think Dan Quinn has a presser going right after we get off this show.
Okay. So we'll learn a little bit more about that, but felt like he could have gone back in the game had the game been really close, but it wasn't. Marcus Mariota, though, looked good in this one, 85.5. And then on the other side of things, when we look at Carolina, center Brady Christensen, their top graded player at an 85.2, tight end Jatavian Sanders with an 82.5, offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu with an 80.4, cornerback J.C. Horn with a 74.2, and then guard Robert Hunt with a 70.5, quarterback Andy Dalton in this one, another tough game for him, a 50.9. Before I crack one of these open and get a little cherry bundy here, what's your stat that told the story?
You're talking about last week we mentioned against the Ravens how you had the Commanders struggling in the run game. Jayden Daniels played pretty well. This game, you got ahead early with the Fowler pick 6, and Daniels went out. But the run game stuck around, right? When you're talking about 5.8 yards per carry for the game. In the first half alone, 17 carries for 137 yards, and the team had a season-high 73.8 run blocking grade. Now, admittedly, there are going to be a lot of teams this year who have their best run blocking grade against the Carolina Panthers. But with Daniels getting hurt and Mariota coming in cold and having to manage the offense and got off, I'll get to Mariota in a second, he had to get into a rhythm a little bit. He saw his first few throws, again, coming off the bench cold, didn't think he was playing today, especially so early. This Washington run game and the balance that they have is now, to me, again, it's what makes their offense dangerous. And I think he was smart to actually, I didn't think about this much in the offseason, but to bring in a guy like Mariota who I think makes sense for Cliff Kingsbury's offense. I think makes sense as the backup for Jayden Daniels. He's not as athletic as he used to be, obviously, with Tennessee and back at Oregon and all of that. But this run, he's still a threat, right, in the run game. And I've talked about how Daniels is freezing backside defenders in the run game, and guys have to hold, or you get the keeps on the read option. You saw a big keep on a read option on the play that I believe we think that Daniels got hurt on, or there was 2 consecutive plays that he took big hits where it's such a huge part of their offense. It's not just high-flying Jayden Daniels throwing go balls and getting it downfield. They have balance. He can throw it down the middle. When linebackers come up, he can keep it on read option. And Mariota, even though he's a little older and, again, not what he used to be, can run a similar type of offense, and then he can work the quick game and everything Cliff Kingsbury's got in the passing game too. So to me, it's Washington getting back to the run game, even without their starting quarterback, and being able to control this game at the line of scrimmage against a Carolina team who's struggled against it all year.
I'll go to the other side of things for the Commanders, holding the Carolina Panthers to just 7 points and a couple of turnovers there. 90.6 coverage rate as a team. That was a single game high for them. 76.3 overall team defensive grade. They've played better as of late. Now, I think that when you look at their top graded games this season as a defense, all right, it was against Cleveland in week 5. It's against Carolina in week 7. Kind of bad offense merchants, if you will. The grades have not been great. In between that, they played the Ravens, and it was a 41 point something. I can't remember, but it was a 41 point something, and that's not great. So is the defense something that we're going to talk about as the top half of the league? No. But what is encouraging about this team is that even for as youthful as they are and how little experience they have together, and Dan Quinn being there in his first year, they're coming together and they are taking care of business against offenses that they should. Are they ready to match up against the best offenses in the NFL? No, not yet. But I do think that we're in a good spot for the Commanders and their defense moving forward. It goes into my most impressive, Dante Fowler Jr. stepping up in this one. I mentioned an interception, a sack as well, 3 pressures, 27.3% pass rush win percentage. When we looked at this defensive line for the Washington Commanders, we said, where is the pressure coming from? Who are we getting it from this season? And I don't think you can have Fowler go out there for 40, 50 snaps a game and say that you're going to get consistent production and a plus 20% pass rush win percentage. But, you have days like today. And I think that's great for the for the Commanders, and especially where they are going this season to establish themselves. And we were watching this game. You were like, hey, somebody tell me why the Commanders can't win the division this year. And overall defense might be a reason why. It might hold them back a little bit here, but with the Cowboys reeling,
I don't think
Giants in the same spot.
It's not going to take a ton of wins.
Right. It's not like the Eagles look like absolute world beaters out there. It's going to take less wins than we thought to win this division, in my opinion. So I do agree with you where the Commanders aren't quite a complete team. They feel like the team that you want to bet on, that's at least going in the right direction and seem to get better every single week. Including this 40-7 win over the Panthers. What about you? Most impressive in this game?
Give me Marcus Mariota. Look, Daniels gets hurt. Everybody in Washington's freaking out. What's wrong with him? Are his ribs broken? He's taking these hits like some said he would. Some of the scouts said he would when he was drafted. But he comes in after a few shaky first couple of throws, 18 of 23 for 205. 3 big-time throws. The last time, Trevor, he had 3 big-time throws was Week 10 of 2018. It's been a little minute since we've had Marcus Mariota in the spotlight.
Love to hear it.
And a 90.2 passing grade that so far before the Monday night games leads the NFL for the week. You want the most fun fact, unless you already saw my tweet about it 4 hours ago?
I didn't.
Who had the 2 highest passing grades in the NFL this week? I just gave you one, obviously.
Yeah, Marquez. Who had the other high? I don't know. Who was it?
About Jameis Winston.
Oh, jeez.
We're just taking it back to 2015. We got Marcus and
Jameis.
Jameis.
The 2015 draft was always right.
The 2015.
Never wrong, just early.
A little early. Just a little early. They had the 2 highest
almost
passing
10
grades.
years early.
Oh, yeah. The 2 highest passing grades.
10 years ago?
Yeah, 2015. Sure. 9.5.
That blew my mind.
You feel old
saying
now?
that out loud. Yes. No, I feel very old.
There you go.
As somebody who covered Jameis when he was in Tampa, yes, I feel very old.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Heifetz tweeted this out. Works for the Ringer. Great friend of the show. This is about the Commanders' offense. Points per drive through 7 weeks in the 21st century. Love a good stat that we go in
the whole century. That's a good hot minute there.
Number 1, the greatest show on turf, the Rams in 2000.
Good team.
Number 2, the 07 New England Patriots team.
Pretty good team.
Pretty good team. Number 3, this year's Washington Commanders.
Pretty good team.
And then number 4 is 2018 Chiefs Mahomes' first season.
It's pretty good.
Insane company that the Commanders have there. My most disappointing is just the Carolina Panthers season. And I see that yours is their defense. No matter how you slice it, the team is not talented enough to compete. They're not. And the Carolina Panthers are going to get a top 3 pick in the NFL draft again this year. And they've got to continue to make more drastic changes on this team because they are not talented enough to win football games. They're just not. I wonder if we go back to Bryce Young at some point in this season. It feels like we're trending in that direction. We'll see what Bryce is when he comes back. But, man, it's ugly. It's ugly for Carolina right now. I feel for him. I feel for Panthers fans. The team is just not talented.
Yeah. I thought they would be better than this. Yeah, especially on defense. They have the lowest overall grade and pass rush grade on defense, second worst EPA per play allowed. I thought because of this defense and honestly some of the new pieces they brought in on offense have been pretty good. I think their offensive line has actually been passable for most of the year, and I think Deontay Johnson was a good idea of a pickup, and that's worked at times. But their defense, for me especially, just their inability to make stops and pretty much do anything. I believe they're the lowest graded D-line in the league. It's just not working. And again, we talked about it. We've talked about it every week. That Derek Brown injury just killed them.
Correct.
He was the center of their defense.
Derailed, man. Not that I think the whole season would have been too much different, but, I mean, on a team that I just said is devoid of talent, for you to take away one of the few talented pieces that you had means a lot.
I really thought in the preseason, I'll be honest, I thought they at least had, if their defense had been playing like it did last year, which was actually passable. It wasn't the worst unit in the league. I really thought they could have won maybe 6 or 7 games and made some progress here, but it's working backwards. It's rough.